Yo everyone, hello and welcome back to another episode of the world-famous series, Marvel vs. Capcom Revisited. I have Carnage as always, and if you don't know, this series is pretty rambly. I'm not really going with a full professional script, just bullet points on my phone. And this is episode 15 of the series. Last episode was about Vanilla Marvel 3, now we're back with Ultimate Marvel 3, the world's best fighting game, at least in my opinion. And this video is going to be about Arthur, on the left here. I normally point over to the wrong side, now I did the right side. I feel so accomplished, but it's about Arthur. And normally in these videos, I look at a character as a whole. Just kind of generally. I go over the normal, special, supers, etc. This video is going to be a bit different. Instead of going over Arthur as a whole, it's why I think he's unique. I will be covering his normal, specials, etc., but it's going to be through the lens of how and why he is unique, and why he was designed in a certain way. And again, it's pretty rambly. This type of video is good to have onto something in the back, and I'm going off bullet points, so if you see me looking away and talking, it's because I'm referring to my notes that I wrote before I started recording. So I've written a lot of bullet points about why I think Arthur is unique, and we'll get into it. So the first one, I wrote, Arthur has no dash. It's hard to rush enemies down, but you can use his jumping S to move around. So you can see, let me actually put on my inputs for you, and I'll reset. You can see here, left, right, left, right. He's not dashing, he just kind of looks really weird. And then backdash, there's no such thing. If I press 2 buttons to dash, nothing. This means that Arthur is the only character, maybe in the whole Marvel vs. Capcom series in general, not just Marvel 3, to not have any form of dash, really. He can't air dash, he can't ground dash, and that also means he can't wave dash / blink dash. Say that 5 times fast. We'll get into it in more detail later, but for now, basically he's a zoner. He has a lot of really good long-range tools and projectiles, things of that nature. So you can't really play Arthur as a close-range rushdown character, because he literally doesn't have the tools to go in. So you can use his jumping S to go in. Oh, and you can see his jumping arc as well. So you can double jump, which is very good. You can super jump and double jump as well. But you see, I love his jumping animation. He goes, ha ha. He doesn't say that noise, but just pretend he does. But yeah, his jumping arc is very floaty, very slow, very reactable. But you can use his jumping launcher to go down, because this kind of kills his momentum and it sends him straight down. And this move, much like all jumping normals in this game, it's an overhead. And if you get really good, you can do it really quickly. Not that this is hard to do, you can mash to make it more consistent. But you can see, there's no height limit, so I can do it super low to the ground. I can do it jumping forward, like that, neutral jumping or backwards jumping. So it's a very good instant overhead, especially on the bigger characters like Nemesis or Sentinel, etc. And you can easily pick up and start a combo off of it. Works on every single character, essentially. So it's quite a good tool to have. And this obviously makes him very unique, because when you think of characters in Marvel, especially a game like Marvel 3, you think of characters like Magneto, and Nova, and Doom, and Dante, and all these characters who can fly and teleport and double jump and stay in the air and do all this sort of crazy movement shenanigans, chicanery if you will. But Arthur, none of that applies to him. He can't dash, can't air dash. He can double jump, which is really nice. But he's got a really bad jump arc. And all of the stuff that I just showed, and it goes to show that Arthur's mobility is awful. It's really bad. He has pretty much the worst movement in the game if you're just looking at grounded movement only. Really bad. And the second point I wrote is that it's very hard to properly utilize his normals, so he mainly relies on his special moves and his supers. And what I mean by that is, you can see his normals, they have really cool animations, like he's using his shield that comes out of nowhere, his sword that comes out of nowhere. There you go. And this crouching heavy actually has really good range. And you can kind of go into a launcher from it. The problem is a lot of his normals have no range. They're not the fastest as well. Like you can see his lights, they have decent range, but his crouching light rather has more range than it looks when you look at the animation, but still it's quite stubby. Medium, slight bit more range than his standing light, but still nothing crazy. Crouching medium's actually a decent low, but he can confirm and afford heavy. But if you space it, that's really the only way to get a low combo starter, and you can do it off crouching heavy as well, but you can see it doesn't connect properly. Standing heavy has some nice range, but other than that, it's kind of stubby. And even then, like I said, he's a zoner, so you're going to be far away from the enemy anyway. And as these buttons don't have a lot of range, especially from this kind of full screen distance, they're kind of useless in situations like this. So it's very hard. And like I said, specials and supers, so we'll get into them. He has quarter circle forward light, dagger toss, and you can mash it for up to 3 extra hits, or up to 2 extra hits rather. Quite good if they all hit. you know, 108,000 damage, I believe. Like that without X Factor, which is very strong. It's good for clearing space in the neutral, kind of that horizontal space that Arthur likes to occupy. You can do it in the air as well. And I believe you can also delay the daggers, so you can go 1, 2, 3 really quickly, or you can go 1, 2, 3. Same thing with his medium dagger toss. You can throw an extra one out. Really nice chunk of damage. Same thing in the air. Heavy, I don't know what he's saying here, but okay. It's an upwards crossbow. You can do it on the... If you do it in the air, he aims it downwards. You cannot add extra hits to this. He also has DP. So this one is a... I believe... This move, it can actually kind of repel projectiles, which is quite nice. And if an enemy presses a button into it, they get staggered, and they're like, whoa, I'm staggered now, Arthur can do this and pick up a combo. The medium version is sort of like a DP, knocks them into the air. You can't combo after it unless you do a super, or you do an assist preemptively or something, I don't know, like that. But this is invincible until frame 14, I believe, which means Arthur technically has a meterless DP. Of all the characters to have one, Arthur has it. His heavy version has second hit, it's a follow-up, it's automatic. Sort of like an auto-double in Killer Instinct, you just do it, he does the follow-up. And you can also pick up with an OTG from this. You know, that OTG or an assist or a super or whatever. It's not bad to have. I don't think this heavy version has any invincibility though. Bit of a shame, but that's okay. Quarter back light is a bottle toss, I think it's called. You can see it hits multiple times. It's actually pretty alright to use a neutral, and you can do it in the air as well. It's sort of like a deterrence tool. It's to prevent the enemy from getting close to you and kind of rushing you down. It's a funny voice line. But it's also mainly used as an OTG. Quarter back medium. It's this big axe toss, and you can see it staggers the enemy, they take a step back. It's slow, but it's actually kind of big. You can Tiger Knee it, you can do a bunch of stuff with it. So if you have an assist like Nemesis, for example, that, you know, can cover above Arthur, and then you do that, and you play a long-range projectile-focused zoning game, it can be very hard for the enemy to approach. Critical back heavy, how about you? It hits twice, it's sort of like a boomerang. If you space it, you can use it in combos. That's a bit slow, but you guys get the idea. You do that, and then forward heavy. It works in X Factor, which we'll demonstrate after, if I remember. I believe that's all of his special moves. Oh, he has some command normals. Back heavy is this. Goes upwards, and then down, and then boom. So it's decent to use, nice. I mean, it's a bit slow. I think it follows Arthur. Yeah, it tries to follow Arthur. So I guess you could try to go near the enemy and get it to hit them. I suppose you could do something like that. We will get into his supers now. So his main super, quarter circle forward and 2 buttons. Goddess bracelet. But yeah. Pretty standard projectile super. I believe you can mash for more damage. You can. Now if you notice, and eagle-eyed viewers rather will notice, Arthur actually recovers faster than the super does. So if we start off in the corner, this is for demonstrative purposes, we'll do it in the corner, I'll see if I can get it. Oh, I messed it up. Actually, let me try mid-screen. You can do the super and combo it into itself. Does this work? I messed it up. We'll give it one more shot. So you guys get the idea. If you time it exactly right, like that, I think I got it. Yes, look at the combo counter. Okay, I think I messed it up there, but you saw it there. Arthur can just loop it. The closest comparison I can make is, if you've ever played Marvel vs. Capcom 2, you'll know that Cable's Air Hyper Viper Beam can do the exact same thing. You just loop the super into itself over and over again until you run out of meter. And Virgil's Spiral Swords also works the same way with the Spiral Swords loops in this game. And it's the same principle, same type of logic for Goddess Bracelet. And you can also jump when you do it. So you can double jump. So you're like, oh, they jumped over the super, I'm screwed. Nope. I'm just gonna go up into the air with you. He also has quarter circle, I'll go back to mid-screen. Quarter circle back and 2 buttons. Give me strength. So this is a really good install. It lasts for 20 seconds. And it powers up his damage, you know, it makes, I wrote here, it increases his damage output by 20%, and it reduces damage taken by 20%. So we do it again. Oh, and it also adds things, it adds components to his specials. So this move normally hits 2 times, but now it hits 3 times. And this move, I'm pretty sure in X Factor, level 3, this is a true block string. And it can do god-like chip damage. Does, just makes Arthur do a lot more damage, increases his zoning potential, but when it runs out, boom, it explodes. And you see that Arthur, He's in his boxes now, and looks pretty funny when you teabag. Kind of looks like a lumberjack. Lumberjack Arthur, that's a thought I've never had in my mind before. But anyway, back on track. This is not just cosmetic. This is actually, like, it has a tangible impact on his gameplay. And I wrote here, Arthur takes 30% more damage than normal. 30%. That is big. And if you notice, yeah, so right about now it's going to explode. That puts Arthur into a hard knockdown state. So any character like Nova can do it, Wolverine can do it, I'm looking at the characters, Nemesis, Hagar. Any character with an OTG or an OTG assist on their team can easily pick up Arthur. So if you're an Arthur player and you've noticed that he's about to run out of the install and you're about to explode and be placed into the hard knockdown state, you want to get away and try to explode from full screen. Because if you're right up in their face and you're in that hard knockdown state, they're just going to OTG you and you die. Especially because Arthur takes 30% more damage than normal. And Arthur only has 850,000 health, I believe, if my memory is serving me correctly, which is already kind of less than average. It's not great, but if you install again, he goes back to normal. Boom. Normal 30% damage increase. Or when he's taking it, rather. I went over his supers, and there's a third one. Level 3. Now, this is unique because it's one of the... It may be the only non-cinematic level 3 in the game aside from Jill's Mad Beast. A lot of level 3s in this game have these big, cool cutscenes. This one is completely in-engine, if you will. It's not a cutscene. 400,000 damage, which is really good. And because it's non-cinematic, it's also very good for happy birthdays. And it's an OTG. So let me try something. I believe this will work. Yes, it does. So that's a flat 400,000 damage, which means it's an excellent way to end a combo, especially if you get a happy birthday. And I believe what you can do is you can do that. You can OTG, DP medium, and then do that. You can't DHC during it because, again, it's a level 3, and that's just not how level 3s work in Marvel. But it's a pretty good level 3, and it'll even catch enemies at jump height. And you can also X-Factor out of it, and it keeps going. How cool is that? That means that you can do something like this. And this is a very short combo, but for demonstrative purposes, you can do something like that. And then you can DHC out of it. Look at that. That's so cool. That's another thing that makes him really unique. X-Factor out of the level 3 and then keep it going, because the level 3 is independent from Arthur himself. That's really cool. You know, again, eagle-eyed viewers may be able to tell, and this is very subtle. You might be able to notice if you look hard enough, and I'll zoom in the edit. Arthur is very small, and this means that his duck can easily allow him to go underneath enemy projectiles, unless it's a really big one, like a really big Soul Fist or a Hadouken or something like that. But like Wesker's gunshot, for example, Dante's mash standing heavy, the gunshots, Nemesis rocket launcher, he'll go under. A lot of projectiles, Arthur will just go under it if he crouches. General rule of thumb is that most overheads and things of that nature and projectiles, they're gonna whiff on Arthur. Arthur has strong zoning that can cover multiple angles. And I said, you know, I just mentioned Morrigan, and you may think, well, strong zoning that covers multiple angles, that literally is Morrigan. How does that make Arthur unique? And on a surface level, you're right. But the way that I see it, and I know the Morrigan downplayers are gonna want me dead for this, but Morrigan does not have to work as hard as Arthur does, in my opinion. When you have Morrigan, and who do you see Morrigan with commonly? You see her with Doctor Doom, with Hidden Missiles Assist, and you see her with Virgil as an anchor with Rapid Slash Assist. So it's Morrigan with 2 assists that do an amazing job at 2 things. Number 1, keeping the enemy in block stun, which prevents them from moving forward and rushing her down. And number 2, pushing them away from her, which, you know, further allows her to keep her zoning game going, and she can just loop it until you die. Arthur can also zone. He's got moves that go forward, he's got moves that go up, wrong button, sorry. Moves that go up, moves that go down. So you can cover a bunch of angles, and someone like Deadpool could do this as well. I think it started, I apologize about that in my OBS, I don't know what happened there. Ugh, but okay, anyway. Deadpool can do the same thing. He can fire straight, downwards, upwards, etc. But Deadpool can wave dash, he can blink dash, he can teleport, he's also got a double jump. He's a very slippery mobile character, and as we know, that doesn't apply to Arthur. So Arthur's strong zoning tools combined with his extremely lackluster movement creates a very interesting combination. It's a very interesting juxtaposition, I suppose, for a character in a fighting game. And it means that Arthur, you know, one of my favorite things about Marvel is that it's a true team game. In Marvel 3, you can't just active tag and just press R1 and be safe and, you know, make out with the hottest woman in the world. You have to rely on assist to cover your point character's weaknesses. For example, and this is something I wrote as well. We'll get into this shell later, but Arthur Hagar is an extremely strong shell. Let's say Nova or someone else, they rush Arthur down and they're right up in his grill. Arthur's kind of slow and stubby. He doesn't have many very good off-me tools except for that. But it's kind of unsafe on block. And you can't just jump away, right? Very slow. So if you call in get off me assist, boom. Easy pickups for days. And again, we'll get into the shell for later. We'll get into it later. But I think that, yeah, combining his strong zoning tools with the poor movement, very interesting combo. And that's what makes him unique. It's really strong Arthur players. They can make Arthur look like a beast. They'll be jumping around and doing all this crazy stuff with the golden armor super. And they make Arthur look like he has good mobility. But it's really an illusion. It's just because they're that good at zoning and keeping the long-range pressure going and keeping the enemy away from them, that they can make Arthur look like a beast. You'll never see them go in, unless they want to go for a quick overhead with this or something. But 99.9% of the time, it's mostly just that. Like zoning and things of that nature. Arthur has 3 assists like every character in the game. But I think this one is his best assist. Dagger Toss. 3 projectiles, not amazing, what's the word? Durability, rather. I can't believe I forgot the word. Not amazing durability, but there's multiple projectiles, and it means that characters who have blink dashes, wave dashes, etc., they can dash up and score a combo. And I had a brain fart and forgot how to do the Hagar combo, but that's okay. Even if you're in the air, you can use it to start a combo, you can use it in the middle of combos, which I will attempt to demonstrate. And again, I mean, I'm not really a Hagar player. You can also use it to set up like resets and combos and things like that. So it's pretty good. I mean, something like that, you can do stuff. I think SacTap plays Hagar and Arthur on the same team, so SacTap, I think he goes under the name of Magic Pixel Mexican. Look him up on YouTube and try to find match footage if you want to see pro players use that Arthur Hagar shell. I wrote that Arthur can go well with most characters. You mainly see him with Hagar, Nemesis, and maybe Wolverine. But before we get into that, I'll mention his general DHC strategy. So what you want for a DHC is there's 2 kinds of supers that you'd want. You want a super that's easy to hit the opponent with, or if you're in a situation where you know you're not going to be able to hit the opponent, you want a safe DHC. Arthur has both of these. Let's get Hagar in. I want to continue the combo. I can do level 3, which is great. I can do his level 1, which is what I was trying to go for, but the game wasn't giving me the input. Let's do this. There we go. I can do this. And as we established before, you can do it again, which then in turn allows him to start a DHC with another character. Or, let's say, I'm unsafe, I whip the super, boom. Pretend they block that. I can go into the armor. And then you tag him out. And then his assist is powered up. And it does more damage. And it has bigger hitbox. And it means that you can thrash the opponent. So it's really good to use. And also level 3 as well. Let's get Nemesis in. Let's put Arthur in the back. Hey. Pretend that hit. Just pretend that combo properly. Oh, Nova's nearly dead. I want to go for a level 3. Boom. Arthur can do that as well. And again, as we established before, you can X Factor and continue the combo there with an X Factor for even more damage. So Arthur's very good with the DHCs. He also has a very strong team super. There you go. And because it's a combo starter, you can get a combo. There is some hit stun deterioration, but it's not too bad. You can also TAC with Arthur, and he has solo OTG, which is very crucial to have in this game. And from up close, boom. Pretty good. So it's very strong team super synergy with a lot of characters in this game. Sort of like Dante's $1 Million. You see Dante, Frank West, and Hawkeye, for example. The point character recovers, but Dante keeps going. Same thing with Arthur. As I showed off before, Lariat Assist is great. Easy combo pickups for days. Even though Arthur's kind of slow, this also works. I believe this will work because Hagar Super is an OTG, yep. You can also try to do that if the timing and the positioning is correct. Well, let's talk about Hagar and Nemesis briefly. Big body characters that don't have and like Hulk, for example. They don't really have projectiles. I mean, Hulk has one, but it's not like a proper projectile, it's a charge motion. Big characters with the exception of maybe Sentinel, they have a hard time crossing the screen horizontally when there's a lot of projectiles on screen. Especially Hagar. You see Hagar and Magneto, a horrible matchup for Hagar. or Hagar, Morrigan, or any sort of character who can zone, Hagar just has to blink and wave dash in and just hope that he can score a hit. If you have Arthur in the back, however, Dagger Toss can actually clear the area. And if you land one hit, boom. And if you notice there, I get a ground bounce. Because normally, the pipe is a ground bounce when you hit it. But if you hit them into the final hit of the dagger, it uses, like, it doesn't use the ground bounce. And if you have Hagar out, you can do this. You can team super. Look at that. I missed Giant Swing there, but that would have been a sick way to end it. Arthur is actually pretty good with big bodies, because big bodies also can't zone. So if you have a zoning character in the back, it can, you know, Arthur can help him out a lot. Now, before we wrap up, and this is something I forgot to put in my notes, admittedly, but that's okay. Let's put on the meter, and I will put on X Factors. X Factor 3 Arthur, you're a beast. Look how much damage this does. Regular B&B, and look how much faster he is as well. I dropped it, but still, okay. Let's say I get the hit, because I'm so fast. I think you can get one more rep of this. Okay, this basic day 1 level 3 X Factor B&B, that is enough to touch of death most characters in the game. And I only used 1 bar of meter there. I could just keep the level 1 going if I wanted to, or even level 3 in that situation. Is he blocking? Cool. Remember this move? So you power up, and then you do this. If you try it, I can try it. If you keep timing this, look at the chip damage. That's insane. If you keep that going. Now, here's the thing, it's not foolproof, because if they push block in a certain way, then they can maybe like almost completely negate the chip damage. But the training dummy is not doing that. Let me turn off his health recovery, actually. Give me a moment. Okay, health recovery is off. Once you get into a rhythm, you can see that this is amazing. It's so good. So in X Factor, especially with the armor, he is a beast. I forgot to turn off the block. My bad. What's dummy settings? Here we go. Dummy, here we go. Turn off the guard and turn it off. He is a beast. Oh, you get hit with an instant overhead? Okay. You die. Sorry. Level 3. If you have the golden armor and level 3 X Factor, look how much damage his level 3 does. 800k, that's so much. 800k as a combo ender. It means that if Arthur has level 3 super and level 3 X Factor, and you get hit by him, you die. Like, that's it. Game over. His air buttons are a bit weird. You can see it's dropping a bit, but that's just because I'm not an Arthur player. I don't know the specifics. And he can also explode in the combo. But you guys get the point that I'm trying to say, right? If you get hit and he combos you, even a little baby combo like that, that's enough to touch of death a lot of characters in the game. That is a touch of death. That will kill Thor. So if they're down to their last character and you have Arthur and X Factor in the assist and... Not assist, but X Factor in the install rather, and all this meter and crazy stuff, and the stars align and everything works well in your favor, you can demolish any character without even trying. So thank you all very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope you made it all the way to the end, and if you did, thank you very much. I do take requests for characters and games and things of that nature in the comments, so leave a comment if you would like to see me do another episode of Marvel Revisited about a character of your choice in any of the Marvel games. Thank you again for watching from the bottom of my heart. I really mean it. So I will see you guys in the next episode of Marvel vs. Capcom Revisited. See ya!